News Radio 570 WSYR, now on 106.9 FM.
570 WSYR weather today, some sun, but a shower too, and a high about 81 degrees. President Obama signed an executive order yesterday that will eventually allow an extra 5 million borrowers to cap monthly student loan repayments at 10% of their income and then forgive any unpaid debt after 20 years. Steve Scanlon works in finance. Is this going to work or not? Steve, I don't think it's a quick fix. It's not really earth-shattering, but so now folks get to borrow and negotiate their terms after they finish school. Sounds sweet to me.
And all these kids are going to understand as well as we do that there's no such thing as a free lunch, and it's never been more prevalent here because that's the case with this situation.
You know, college costs keep going up, I think, because of cheap credit. And anybody who pays $65,000 a year for an 8-month school year at a private college, I think is insane. But, you know, again, college costs go up because of cheap credit. Won't this drive up costs even more?
Without question. Without question. You're going to have, you know, that is the heart of the problem, again, with this administration is what do we do about the actual rising costs of college? Because it's tripled in the past 30 years. And so if you've got a young child now, you can go on many websites and put in on a 529 plan, which is the way a lot of people save for college, and figure out what it's going to cost your child. Let's say you got a 5 or 6-year-old child, what it's going to cost by the time they're 18 or 19 to go to school, and it is staggering.
You know, borrow a ton of cash, live it up in college for 4 years, then graduate, get a lousy job just to pay off 10% of the income. That's crazy.
Well, and also continue to get taxed and continue to not get some of the benefits like Social Security that this generation that's graduating from college is never going to get.
You know, not everybody has to go, or if not everybody has to go right away, right? If you can't go, you can't go. I mean, some people work to save up for college and then go, or, you know, apply for scholarships and grants and loans and those kind of things.
Or work. I mean, I'm one of 6 kids, and I begged and borrowed every dollar that I could, but I worked, 30 hours a week in college to make sure that I could pay it off and then I could have an amount of debt that was serviceable when I got out of school.
So what's the better way? You work in this area. What's a better way to do this?
I think what you have to do is you have to have clarity around what the cost is. I mean, the most egregious part of this, in my view, is that the Education Secretary Duncan said, we don't really know what this is going to cost. We got to figure this out. We'll figure this out on the back end. I mean, that's a direct quote. So in my view, in finance, nothing about that works. You can't just say, oh, it's going to cost something and we'll figure it out at the end of it. That's when we're at $17 trillion in debt. We're just figuring this out on the back end. What you have to do is you've got to figure out what the exact costs are and where you're going to get the money and where you think you're going to be able to actually solve for this problem. You can't go into something like this and say, I don't exactly know what it's going to cost. That doesn't work in any aspect of finance ever.
That's Steve Scanlon, works in finance. Typically, if you graduated 5 years ago, you're making $39,000 a year, but carrying a $27,000 student loan debt, you would see your monthly repayment reduced by about $125 a month and $1,500 a year compared to the standard repayment plan. But again, you now get to negotiate terms after you borrow up to your, eyelids. 570 WSYR time, 7:18, traffic, weather, and the Wall Street Journal in 3 minutes.
Avoid backups and delays. Get the latest traffic every 10 minutes on the 10s, mornings, and 4 times an hour afternoon.